All right, it is time now to introduce our final speaker. Last but not least, please light up the chat with gratitude and help me welcome JC to the stage.
Hey everyone. First, I want to say that I feel extremely privileged to have been part of this community keynote session with Natalie and MC and with these amazing testimonials. My name is Jean-Cédric and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for the Hotel Montville and the Hotel Gold in Montreal. The event 2021 is about being stronger, wiser, and safer. And a year ago, I remember very well being at the office with all the ownership on a Saturday, making plans from what it looked like to be a short-term issue. I was faced with these questions. Why should I do what I do? I got these questions from many people inside or outside the industry. Why should I create something that does not bring any revenue? I remember having these questions, sometimes critics, about the action we were putting in place. But the real question should be, do we have the right measurement of success? Why should I fight when there is no international demand? The borders are closed. What's the point to think outside of the box? Why would I do things differently rather than waiting for the business to come back as before? Why would I go to another industry and do something else? There is still time for me. I can start over. I think we've all struggled and felt stuck with this situation when it happened. More than 3 years ago, I discovered something. We were about to open our hotel in September. Great months for an opening with full of reservations on the books. The rooms were ready with the beds, the TVs, the furniture, etc. But 2 weeks prior to the opening, early in the morning, I am having my coffee, reading the news, when I receive a call from my ownership saying, JC, you need to be at the office right now. From that tone, I knew that something wrong was going on. So I packed my stuff, got out of the apartment, took the metro and arrived at the hotel as quickly as I could. When I arrived, everyone was there, the ownership, the directors, and they announced us that there had been a water flood from the 18th floor through the second basement. We went into the hotel looking at the water leaking from the ceiling. We went into the rooms looking at the walls falling into the furniture. It was devastating. And the more we're looking at it, less we're seeing the end of it. The next day at the office, we got the estimation of the damages. 1 month to demolish everything and 5 to rebuild everything. At this moment, you feel powerless. There was nothing I could do about the situation. I am not a construction person or an engineer. And I remember that night I drank a lot of cocktails to forget about the whole situation. But the positive aspect was that we knew where we were going and that I had to turn this event into a positive experience. And I told myself, look, we have 6 months in front of us to turn this event into a positive experience for my team, but also for myself. So as a team, we sat together and I told them, look, we have 2 solutions in front of us. Either we tell our clients to search for a new hotel and we wait for the business to come back in 6 months, or we fight as a team. We brainstorm together on how we can help our guests and serve them. And if we do that, I guarantee you that this is going to be the best learning curve that you're going to have. And this is what we did. We decided to call each guest one by one. I remember being very worried about being yelled at when we called the first one. I took the phone and I called the first one, say, hi, my name is Jean-Cédric, the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Hotel Montville. We got a water flood, so we won't be able to open and to host you. However, we already have an alternative for you 2 minutes away from the hotel, and we'll take care of everything. And this is what we did. We prepared their stays with amenities, the welcome letter, and we took care of the invoicing and the rest. And at our biggest surprise, guests were very nice and receptive with us, and even showing empathy with the whole situation we're facing. So we started calling everyone, and the return was always positive on the way we had been able to innovate from a devastating moment, and how we had been able to create a 360 experience of the property without having them physically with us. And as a result, more than 90% of these guests came back when the hotel opened. And we still have travel agencies telling this story to their clients on how the situation was solved. So 3 years ago, I discovered that our team spirit and our empathy for others builds trust out of a critical moment. I had so many doubts. I felt stuck and I felt powerless, but I also felt privileged for the team that I had at this moment and I still have today, because they saved me from these moments, forcing me to think differently and to inspire people around me to give purpose. This even made me stronger towards the global pandemic we're facing today. Last March, I had to follow more than half of my team and reduce the hours of the rest being in place. It was probably the most difficult moment of my career. And during the first months, even if I had my team partially during the week, I felt very alone and limited in what I could do. I knew I couldn't be creative alone. I couldn't bring new projects alone. I couldn't challenge my ideas to anyone. It was a frustrating period. So beginning of May, we sat together with my ownership on the reasons why we should bring back the sales and marketing team. First one, we need to be in constant contact with our clients and show them that we still exist. We're independent. We do not have the luxury of having a brand behind us. And we have an amazing opportunity to go after new markets, new clients, and develop true expertise per industry. I want my sales team to be true experts of their markets. And that's the reason why we're going to do a sales training for 2 months with a professional trainer, and thanks to the government help. This will strengthen the skills of the team and give the opportunity to strengthen the prospecting as well. And on the marketing side, it's simple. We only have the local and the leisure clientele. Before the pandemic, we used to be experts at attracting regional, national, international clientele. But since the beginning of the pandemic, it's the opposite. And we have to be quick at changing our mindset. So as a result, 2 of my sales manager and 1 marketing manager came back to fight for the recovery with us. And I had this first from many discussions with my team. They tell me that I talk a lot sometimes. But why should I do what we do? Because we're all passionate people about this amazing industry. We all love what we do, and we need to turn this event into a positive experience. Anything you need to learn, anything you need to improve, I will make sure that I can give it to you, and that at the end of this experience, you had everything you needed. Why should we create something that does not bring any revenue? Because measuring success has changed. It is not anymore about the revenue, the ADR, the RevPAR, or the number of room nights sold. It is about the quality of the relationships we build with our clients. It is about brand awareness. It is about making sure that they will think about us when the business comes back. It is about developing our sales and marketing skills. It is about caring for each other as a team, but it's also about preparing the future. Why should we fight when there is no international clientele? Because there is an amazing opportunity to go after a new world, a new market, new clientele that we never went after before because we never really needed it. And why should we do things differently rather than waiting for the business to come back as before? Because if we do not think and rethink the way we do things, we won't learn anything from this crisis, and we will lose the opportunity to make our industry evolve. And this is how we switched our mindset from being stuck and feeling desperate into an opportunity to create and innovate out of a critical moment. And sometimes we start from the limitations in front of us. I cannot do this because my software is made like that. Or I cannot do that because my company is organized like this. But why don't we start from the customers, their expectations, their hobbies, their interests? The business is not likely to go back as it was before. If this particular time had lasted 1 or 2 months, maybe yes. But after more than a year in this COVID-19 world, I believe that there will be deeper changes that are already there and others to come. As an example, we have and we will have to apply sanitary procedures, but we do not know what is going to stay or not. And there is a challenge and an opportunity here when it comes to creating an emotion, a souvenir. We sell dreams, and being welcomed by someone with a mask, gloves, and telling you to put gel at every corner of the building is not very appealing. For example, in our hotel, since March 2020, we had to remove all information papers, including the room service information and services, etc. So we had to think, what can we do about that? How can we enhance the customer experience? It happens that we're very close to the startup incubator in Montreal. And we're put in contact with this startup making QR codes. And they were finishing a project with the Air Canada Lounge at that time to enable them to take restaurant orders through the QR codes. So we organized this meeting with Isabel from My Smart Journey. Gladly, she already knew about the company. And we had this immediate creative connection that made this project possible. In 3 months, we implemented a project. We created a webpage with the services and the room service option. We chose the design of the stickers, we printed them and placed them in the rooms in the common areas. And we built the analytics for collecting the data. It is just an example on how, again, as a team, we were able to innovate and start from a problem we needed to solve and bring a solution to it. But this pilot project has been implemented in only 10% of the inventory of the hotel, because in 6 or 8 months from now, we will evaluate based on the data collected if we move forward or not to the implementation in the entire building. So embracing technology to humanize the experience is definitely one of the key learning points of this experience. Technology has to be a tool and not the result to be more creative and innovative about the customer experience. So it has been 12 months that we are in this situation. And it is clearly a mixed feeling between we know how to deal with it now and I'm fed up with the whole situation. Fed up not being able to travel, to go to restaurant, to bar, concerts, etc. And honestly, I found 2021 even tougher than 2020. And I found necessary to inspire again on the opportunities still that we have ahead of us. But to be totally honest with you, I felt also that I needed to inspire myself and motivate myself and find a second breath. I did not want to lose that creativity or motivations that is constantly driving me. So I sit regularly with my team, individually or as a team. And to me, it has always been essential to be the kind of manager that thinks about his team first and thinks on how can I make sure that my team members, while they're in my team, have learned what they wanted to learn, but also that they will be ready for the next chapter of their career. And more than ever, to me, it seemed important to dig in what they wanted from me, what they waited from the company. So I asked them. And as a team, it came like that. JC, we trust you. Thank you for involving us in so many projects and giving us autonomy and responsibilities. But individually, it was more precise. I want to know what will be my role in the company for the next year. I need to be involved in more projects. I want to have your vision on where do you see us at the end of this situation? Or we need to do more things together as a team outside of work. And at this moment, I felt so grateful for being where I was, and it gave me power to continue fighting. A few days later, I came back with a list of projects, individually and team projects, and I made sure that each of them, based on their strengths and what they wanted, had what they deserved. And to me, it seemed essential to continue having a vision on where we are going, but also why are we doing what we do? Why is it so important to think outside of the box? And I'm extremely hopeful for the future. I'm a positive person by nature. And I think that we have so many opportunities to learn from this global crisis. In the future, we may even see two separate sales and marketing plans between the local and the national, regional, and international clientele. But in order to surpass the performances of the past, our organizations will have no choice but to be more agile and more flexible than before. So if there was only one thing I want all of you to remember today, one thing I want all of you to leave this room with, is the importance of empathy for others. This is with empathy that I ask questions to my team and how I could help them overcome the situation. This is empathy that brought confidence to my team and thus enabled us to be creative in every project we implemented. And this is empathy that made us hopeful for the future and continuing to fight for the recovery of the industry, but also ourselves. Thank you. Merci.
Fantastic job, JC. Bravo, my friend. I have to tell you that JC spent quite a bit of time empathizing with your needs. He really wanted to make sure that his story truly would help you become even better, stronger, safer, wiser. And as you can see, he absolutely delivered on that. Well done, JC. You are the example of what servant leadership looks like. And I'm so proud to know and work with you. I want to share a couple of comments that came in through chat. Embracing technology to humanize the experience, that resonated with everybody. And then Alice mentioned a standing ovation to all three community keynote speakers for their truths, their courage, and their bravery. But then also Leanne Calderwood mentioned, JC, do things differently rather than wait for things to return to normal. It's an opportunity to create and innovate. Thank you, JC. Wonderful job.